Good morning. It's NICOA Dunn. Coffee with NICOA. We got a little fireside chat going here this morning. I've got my coffee. Cheers. I hope you have yours. It was pretty chilly this morning when we woke up, so we built a fire in our little solo stove, which is so cool. But the sun came out and I got hot, so I took my sweatshirt off and sleeveless by the fire. Not a common sight, but in North Carolina, you never know what the weather's going to give you. So who is in my generation who remembers the commercials, Leggo My EGO? You remember the two kids, the Eggo would pop up. It was a waffle, for those of you who do not know, you youngins out there. The waffle would pop up and everybody would grab the waffle, and the argument was Leggo My EGO. And Eggo waffles were very popular back in the day. Still are today. My kids love them when we go on vacation. So I thought about that this morning around 5 o'clock when I woke up, thinking about all of your input. Each of you, many of you, sent in ideas for me to talk about today. And the majority of the topics that were sent were related to letting go of outcomes, letting go of something that you didn't have control over, trying to control something, letting go of toxicity, letting go of what no longer serves you. And as I was pondering everybody's inputs, I remembered that commercial. So the thing that is the common theme for letting go is also the ego. So that's when I thought, let go of my ego, right? Leggo my ego. So I want you to remember that, Leggo my ego. And ask yourself that question when you think you might be controlling, attached to an outcome that really may not be yours to be attached to. Now, I took notes today because I think this is a pretty important topic, especially since most of you recommended it. And I wanted to make sure we really had some strong examples to really walk you through what we're talking about. A lot of us suffer, especially as parents, those of us who have children, we suffer about the outcomes that our children are about to experience, meaning the risk of not getting something they wanted, the risk of not making the team, the risk of being bullied at school, something that could cause them to suffer. So we ourselves suffer for fear of their suffering. And we are attached, right? We're attached to the outcomes of our child's experience, or a best friend's experience, or a parent's experience, or a sibling's experience. And we try to impose our belief system onto them and advise and help and hold and guide and push. And that can often show up like a snowplow parent. Have you heard of this phrase before? Similar to the helicopter parent who comes and sits down right next to their kid and helps them fill out all their applications and makes sure. And the snowplow parent moves everything out of the way. Well, let me go ahead and make those 2 phone calls for you. So you just show up and the appointment's ready for you to be, or I've already called the teacher and filled out your application. So you just go ahead. There's nothing in your way. That's a snowplow parent. Guilty. Yeah. So we gain privilege as we grow and we think, okay, let me help this person. Let me help my child be successful. And then we're still attached to the outcome. The other thing is you might be giving advice all the time to a family member. Why don't you do it the way I have already learned is the way, right? I already know. So let me help you. Well, there's a couple of assumptions that are happening here. One is, are we really ensuring and helping, or are we trying to reassure? Can we turn it to a reassurance? Because what I think is often happening is we're so attached to the outcome of other people's endeavors when we are the caregiver, if you will, that we get a little bit confused as to what we're attached to. Is it really all about the person? Or is it about my own ego wanting them to validate my advice? Or that fine line in parenting where am I supposed to ensure for my child and make sure I've educated and guided and advised? Or am I supposed to step back and reassure them that whatever happens is going to be okay? That's where the letting go and the letting go, the Leggo of my ego, because if you really go deep, sometimes it's really my ego. I don't want to suffer because they suffer, because if they don't get what I think they should get, or they hurt, or they are in pain, then I'm going to be in pain. So isn't that really my motivation? I want you to ponder this. My favorite word, ponder. Okay? What am I really doing here? Let me give you an example. A friend of mine a friend of mine shared that one of her kids is like, I'm selling everything. I'm going to LA and I'm going to be a filmmaker and I'm going to do this, 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 and this. And her reaction as his mother was, no, you're not. Oh my God, that's so expensive. Nobody makes it. Nobody goes out there and does that. Oh my God, I'm freaking out, right? Don't do that. You need to go do this, 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 and this. And then if that's meant to be, it'll happen. Okay, I can see that. That's your knee-jerk reaction as a parent. It is hard to sell everything and go to LA. I mean, how many success stories are there? There are success stories, but how many, right? So we have this belief as older, wiser adults that, wait, no, I need to make sure. Because what's really happening? As the mother, my friend as the mother, oh my God, that's too scary. I don't want to see you fail. I don't want to see you suffer. I don't even know how you would do that because I could never even imagine doing that. So I'm going to impose on you my fear. It's my ego, my insecurity. And I'm going to say no. When maybe, and my friend has already heard this piece of reaction from me, response, if you will, maybe her son simply needs reassurance. Now, I'm not telling you to send your kids out into the lion's den with no advice. That's that fine line, right? How much do we guide them and advise them? While at the same time, I invite you to let go of them and reassure them. And here's the reassurance. Tell me more about going, man, that would be exciting. Wow, I could see you as a movie editor now. What would that look like for you? Tell me what your plan would be. Have you thought about, what kind of a job you could have while you're looking for the movie editing job? Okay. Well, what about roommates? How do people live over there? Have you looked at the housing expenses? Oh, all right. You know what? If anybody can do it, you can. I might be terrified as a mother when I reassure my child that something is possible like that. Because I can also go find you the people that did do that and were successful. And here's the thing. You want your child to feel that confidence. If you really are concerned about how they will react to an outcome in life that may or may not be one that feels good, then you need to give them every bit of reassurance up front. Your friend, your spouse, your partner, whoever you're trying to encourage and validate. Because if you immediately go to, well, you better be careful, then what we don't want is your child to rebel against you and say, well, hell, I'm going anyway. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to show them. But you've instilled fear, uncertainty, and doubt into their thought process. And they get out there and the minute they hit a bump, they think, well, my mom said maybe I couldn't make it. Uh-oh, well, what if there's not enough money? Yep, this job has been very difficult. I've only gotten one call back. Whatever it is, you want to give them the confidence and let them come to their own understanding of failure, of a miss, of a redirection in life. We need them to know that even if you've never traveled the world, that they have the opportunity to travel the world. You need to reassure them, and you don't need to do anything. This is NICOA's philosophy about life. And based on what I've seen in my clients and the way in which they show up in the world, those who come from a space and the light is shining bright, those who come from a space where they were told life was possible, when they didn't get something, they were a lot more confident because you instilled and reassured that they had what it took to handle it. Well, you've done everything you can to try out for that team, and I'm confident no matter the outcome, you can handle it. And that, my friends, is an underlying need to remove suffering. If we can learn to let go and reassure, do it to ourselves as well. Go to the mirror and say, I've done everything I can do. And I'm confident I have phenomenal coping skills, no matter the outcome. Leggo my ego, because your ego is either there to be overconfident or there to make you afraid. And what we tend to do is project it onto others around us. And our ego wants to be right. So let's back it up and remember the most important thing. There is value in all. And when I let go of you and let you have your journey and your path and share with you as you ask or as I am so led to share, and then let it go, I trust that no matter what the outcome, there was value in it for you and for me. Hashtag Life by Design. Coffee with NICOA. Please share if you think somebody would benefit from this. I love you guys. Happy Sunday. We will talk to you next week.